and Kingston is gonna be.
You think you know reggae? Bob Marley, a few festival hits, maybe a playlist you haven't touched in years. But what if I told you there are 12 timeless reggae songs that shaped the sound, ruled the dance halls, and healed broken hearts? And you probably haven't really listened to them in a long time? From prophetic roots anthems to late-night lovers rock and militant dancehall classics, this countdown is your reminder of why you fell in love with reggae in the first place. So before you skip, answer this. How many of these 12 legends can you still sing word for word? Let's find out, starting from number 12. I still remember the first time I heard this one. I was standing near a small sound system on a hot afternoon. Speakers stacked taller than me, wires everywhere, and that dusty black arc magic floating in the air. The rhythm dropped first. Slow, heavy, like a heartbeat that had seen too much. Then Junior Mervin's voice came in, that high, ghostly falsetto that didn't sound like anything else on the street. Police and Thieves in the Street. It wasn't just a song. It felt like somebody reading the front page of the newspaper out loud over a roots rhythm. The tension, the crime, the clashes, the feeling that the system wasn't built for you. All of it was right there in his voice. And behind him, you could hear Lee Scratch Perry, not in words, but in the strange echoes, the reverb, the way every drum hit sounded like it was bouncing off zinc roofs and concrete walls. People around me weren't dancing wild. They were rocking, thinking, nodding. Some of the older heads just closed their eyes and listened. It was like the tune was telling us, "You're not crazy. The madness you see outside is real." Have you ever heard a song that made the world around you feel like a movie scene for a few minutes? That's what Police and Thieves did. Every siren in the distance suddenly had a soundtrack. Every argument, every clash between youth and authority felt like part of the song. When you play it again now, listen closely. Do you hear just a reggae classic? Or do you hear a warning that still fits today? With this one, I wasn't in a dance. I was alone. That's how this song finds you, in private moments when life feels heavy. I pressed play, and that organ came in like a church door opening. Then Jimmy Cliff's voice, tired, hopeful, broken, strong, all at the same time. Many rivers to cross. You don't need anyone to explain the lyrics. From the first line, you know what he means. The feeling of trying and failing, doors closing, plans not working out, being far from home, or feeling far from yourself. I remember sitting there, staring at nothing, just letting the song wash over me. It didn't feel like he was performing.
And it's only my will that keeps me alive.
It felt like he was confessing, like he was saying things most men, especially back then, didn't want to admit out loud. This isn't a song you jump to. It's one you carry with you. It plays in your mind when you're waiting for a visa, when you lose a job, when someone you love is gone, when your dreams feel too far away.
My woman left.
How many times in your own life have you felt like you're facing many rivers, and you're not sure how to cross them? That's why this song is timeless. Production styles change, rhythms change, but that feeling of struggle? That never goes away. Jimmy Cliff put it into words for all of us. I first knew this song before I understood it. It was just one of those tunes always playing somewhere. In taxis, at small shops, at family gatherings. You hear that opening line, "One love, one heart." And even as a kid, you hum along. It feels simple, almost too simple. But the older I got, the more I realized how deep it really is. This version from the Exodus era isn't just a sweet sing-along. It's built on a message.
All mankind just save his soul. Believe me.
Bob and the Wailers were taking an older idea, mixed with Curtis Mayfield's People Get Ready, and turning it into a worldwide prayer. You can hear it in the way the band plays, relaxed but strong, like a group that knows exactly who they are and what they're saying.
Who has heard all mankind just save his soul.
I remember one night watching a crowd from different countries, different backgrounds, all arms around each other, singing this chorus like a stadium-sized hymn. People who didn't share the same language, politics, or history, but knew every word of this song.
What about a one heart? What about let's get together?
Have you ever seen strangers suddenly become a choir because of one track? That's the power of one love. It's not naive. It doesn't fix the world by itself. But for a few minutes, it lets you feel what unity could look like. And sometimes, feeling it is the first step to wanting it for real.
You are old and I am young. Yes, while I'm young, yes, I wanna have some fun, run me.
By the time this one hit, the vibe had shifted. Roots was still there, but the dancehall energy was rising, sound systems were louder, and youth culture was changing.
Young, yes, I wanna have some fun, run me down.
I remember hearing "Here I Come" echo out over a big set of speakers at a dance, and the whole place just lit up. Barrington Levy's voice cut through the night, playful, boastful, confident.
Sing, I'm broad.
'Cause I'm broad, I'm broad, I'm broader than Broadway. The drums and bass weren't just backing him, they were pushing him forward, bouncing off each other in that mid-80s dancehall style. It felt like the music itself was walking into the room with a swagger.
What's up?
This wasn't a heavy, meditative roots tune. This was vibes. People weren't just rocking, they were moving, laughing, pulling wheel-ups, shouting back lines. And yet, behind all that fun, there was still that Jamaican sharpness, that sense of a man stating his worth in a world that often tries to make you feel small.
What's up?
The funny thing is, years later, I started hearing pieces of this song in other places. Hip-hop tracks, movie soundtracks, DJ sets, samples tucked inside remixes. It's like the tune escaped the dance and went traveling around the world.
Wanna have some fun, run me down. Sing.
Have you ever had a song that instantly changes your posture when it comes on? Makes you stand a little straighter, feel a little cooler, move with a little more rhythm? That's what Here I Come does. It reminds you that reggae isn't only about suffering and struggle. It's also about confidence, style, and joy.
When we come with style, we come with style. And there's some man about the place, but they might take a cocaine from them here.
These 4 songs, from Police and Thieves to Here I Come, are like 4 different windows into the same house, the house of reggae. One shows you the street battles, one shows you the private pain, one shows you the dream of unity, one shows you the swagger of the dance. Which one of these do you feel the most when you press play again? The first time Night Nurse really hit me, it wasn't coming from a big sound system or a festival stage. It was late at night, low volume, coming out of a small radio in a quiet room. And that's exactly how this song is meant to find you. The moment Gregory Isaac's voice slid in, soft, laid back, but full of need, the whole mood changed. It didn't feel like just another love song. It felt like a confession, like a man who has tried to be strong all day and finally lets his guard down when everyone else is asleep. Tell her try your best just to make it quick. I remember sitting there, not even moving, just listening. The rhythm is slow, almost like a heartbeat when you're lying in bed, thinking too much. The horns don't shout, they sigh. The bass doesn't rush. It settles underneath you. And Gregory doesn't sing like he's chasing the girl. He sings like he already knows she has the power, and he's not afraid to admit it. In that moment, I realized why they call him the cool ruler. He doesn't beg loudly, he doesn't scream. He just leans in close, whispers his desire, and somehow it feels 10 times more intense. Night Nurse isn't just about romance, it's about vulnerability. It's about needing someone so much that you turn your insomnia into poetry. Think about it. How many songs today can you play at 2 a.m. that feel this smooth, this grown, this timeless? Press play again one night when the world is quiet, and see if it doesn't feel like Gregory is singing just for you. I still remember the first time I heard those words echo over a big sound system outdoors. It was evening, the sky turning dark, and the crowd was a mix. Rude boys, roots men, young women in their best outfits, kids running around. Then this tune dropped, and everything settled. It didn't feel like just a song. It felt like someone had just walked onto the mic and blessed the whole place. Half Pint's voice isn't big and booming. It's youthful, clear, and honest. But that's what gives Greetings its power. He sounds like a messenger who believes every word he's saying. The rhythm knocks, the bass line bounces, but the message is what grabs you. Unity, respect, upliftment. No matter how wild the dance was getting before, when this tune came in, people lifted their heads a little higher. You'd see hands in the air, lighters up, faces turned toward the speakers like they were listening to a sermon wrapped in a dancehall groove. I remember looking around and seeing tough-looking guys quietly mouthing the lyrics. That's when it hit me. Reggae and dancehall aren't only about clash and bravado, they're also about guidance. Songs like Greetings remind you that there's something bigger than the party, bigger than the struggles, bigger than the ego. Have you ever had a song make you feel like someone just said a prayer over your life, even while the bass is shaking the ground? That's what Greetings does. Every time it plays, it feels like a reset button for the spirit. Hearing 07, Shantytown, for the first time is like stepping through a time machine straight into late 60s Jamaica. You don't need a documentary. The song is the documentary. I remember it coming through an old speaker, that rock-steady beat rolling steady and clean, with Desmond Dekker's sharp, urgent voice cutting right through. It wasn't polished like modern pop. It was raw, real, full of street energy. Dem a loot, dem a shoot, dem a wail. Those lines hit me hard. You can see it. Youths running, trouble in the street, the tension between poverty, police, and survival. Dekker doesn't sound shocked by it. He sounds like someone who's seen it all before. The music might be catchy, but the story isn't pretty. That contrast is what makes it powerful. As I listened closer, I realized this is early reggae doing what reggae does best, turning the struggle of the ghetto into melody and rhythm. It's rebel music, but it's also everyday life music. You can imagine the shanty towns, the zinc fences, the little shops, the hustle, the danger, all inside a 3-minute tune. What amazed me is how global this song became. It broke into the UK charts, made people far from Jamaica sing along to words about a reality they didn't fully understand. That's the magic of reggae at that time. It slipped messages into catchy choruses and sent them around the world. Play 0007 again and listen like you're walking beside Desmond through the streets he's singing about. You might find yourself asking, if the song came out today, would the story really be so different?
All right, C-Trends fam, let's keep it real. We're pouring our hearts into bringing you the best celebrity news and music deep dives. What? Check it. A massive 98% of you aren't subscribed yet. Subscribing is how you can truly support us, helping us grow and create even better content. If you're vibing with what we do, take a sec to hit that subscribe button. It's free and makes a huge difference. Plus, ring that notification bell so you never miss out. Let's flip that 98% and build this C Trends family together. Your support is everything.
The first time I properly heard Marcus Garvey, I wasn't just listening. I felt like I was being called out. The drums were heavy, almost ceremonial. The horns sounded like alarms. And then Burning Spear's voice came in. Deep, rough, serious. He didn't sound like a singer trying to entertain. He sounded like an elder giving a warning you couldn't ignore. Marcus Garvey say, I remember sitting there thinking, this isn't just a song, this is a lesson. I'd heard the name Marcus Garvey before, but in school it felt like a footnote. In this song, though, he wasn't a small detail. He was the center. The way Burning Spear repeated his name, chanted his message, made Garvey feel like a living presence in the room. The rhythm doesn't rush. It moves like a march, slow, steady, unstoppable. The whole production feels like it's been built to carry a message across time. Remember your heroes. Don't ignore your history. Don't let the system define your worth. I remember looking up more about Marcus Garvey after hearing the tune. That's how you know a song is powerful, when it sends you searching for the truth behind the lyrics. This wasn't escapism. This was education wrapped in bass and echo. Have you ever had a track make you feel a little uncomfortable because it's pushing you to think deeper? Marcus Garvey does that. It doesn't just give you a nice melody. It asks you who you are, where you come from, and what you're doing with that knowledge. These 4 songs, Night Nurse, Greetings, Iwazuro7, Shantytown, and Marcus Garvey, show 4 different sides of reggae: the lover, the messenger, the street reporter, the prophet. And if you really listen, you'll hear one thing tying them all together: the voice of a people refusing to be forgotten, whether they're whispering love in the dark or calling out injustice in broad daylight. Which side of reggae do you feel most when you press play? The romance, the unity, the rebellion, or the prophecy? The first time I truly felt 2 sevens clash, it wasn't just a song playing in the background. It was like a warning siren wrapped in a melody. I remember older people talking about this date like it was a storm on the horizon. July 7th, 1977, 7/7/77. Some were laughing it off, some were nervous, some were dead serious. And in the middle of that tension, Joseph Hill's voice came floating out of radios, sound systems, street corners. 2 sevens clash.
Until Overland and Bronx. And sometimes I ride on past Kingston.
The rhythm itself is steady, almost marching. Not too fast, not too slow. It feels like a clock ticking towards something you can't see yet. Joseph doesn't sing like a man trying to entertain. He sings like a man who's seen a vision and can't keep quiet. The harmonies behind him are like a choir backing up a prophet. As that date drew closer, people talked about it anywhere Jamaicans gathered. In shops, on buses, in barbershops, in foreign too. Some stayed home that day. Some watched the sky. Some went about their business, pretending they weren't thinking about it. But no matter where you were, if you knew reggae, you knew that line. When the 2 sevens clash, it's gonna be dread. Years later, when you listen back, You can still feel that nervous energy frozen in the song. The world didn't end. Fire didn't fall from the sky. But that wasn't really the point. The real prophecy was about Babylon, corrupt systems, spiritual blindness, the idea that one day, everything that looks strong will be shaken. Have you ever had a song make a date feel bigger than just a square on a calendar? That's what 2/7's Clash did for a whole generation. Press play again, and you're not just hearing music, you're hearing the sound of a people holding their breath.
Are you ready?
The first time I heard this tune on a proper sound system, it felt like the ground moved before the crowd did. The bass line came in like a tank rolling slowly down the street, and then Michael Rose's voice sliced right through. Guess who's coming to dinner? Natty Dreadlocks. It wasn't a polite dinner invitation. It felt like a challenge, a statement, a warning, the kind of line that makes you straighten your back without even thinking about it. Sly and Robbie's rhythm section is a whole story on its own. The drums are tight and militant, the bass is thick and heavy, and every little guitar lick and keyboard stab feels like it's been placed with purpose. This wasn't laid-back Sunday reggae. This was warrior music, global but still yard.
Are you ready? Are you ready?
In the dance, I remember the reaction clearly. Some songs make people sing. This one made people move differently. Heads nodding harder, hands in the air, shoulders rolling with that roots dance hall hybrid energy. And when the chorus hit, you could see faces light up with recognition. It was like the whole place agreed. We're not guests anymore. We're the ones arriving.
Guess who's coming to dinner?
Listening more closely, you realize the song is about how society reacts when Natty Dread shows up. When Rasta, Black Pride, and consciousness step into spaces that tried to ignore or reject them. It's about presence, about saying, you can't pretend we don't exist. We're here. We're at the table now. Have you ever walked into a room and felt like your very presence made people uncomfortable, but you stayed anyway? That feeling is in this record. That's why Guess Who's Coming to Dinner isn't just a hit. It's an attitude, a stance, a declaration. My memory of Cherry O Baby isn't tied to one big moment. It's tied to 100 small ones. This is the kind of song that seems to follow you through life. Family gatherings, street parties, old school sessions, random radio spins on lazy afternoons. The first time it really clicked with me, though, was at a community event where an older sound man dropped it in the middle of a more modern set. You could see the shift instantly. The younger crowd might not have known every word, but the older heads did, and they lit up. Smiles, shoulder bops, people singing along like they'd just been transported back 30 years. Eric Donaldson's voice isn't flashy or overproduced. It's sweet, clean, and honest, like someone singing in your ear from the porch, not from a distant stage. The rhythm is pure early 70s Jamaican charm, light but steady, bouncy but not frantic, the kind of groove you can dance to with your grandmother or your crush. Knowing it won the Jamaica Festival Song Competition makes perfect sense. It has that celebratory feel, not fake happiness, but real joy. The kind of tune that's simple on the surface, but perfect in its balance. And the fact that it was strong enough for the Rolling Stones to cover it, and later UB40, shows how powerful Jamaican songwriting really is. A tune written on a small island, sung with a humble voice, ends up echoing through rock and pop history. What I love most is how Cherry O Baby works in any setting. Dance, wedding, cookout, car ride, Sunday cleaning. It never feels out of place. Think about it. How many songs can you play across 3 generations in the same room and get nothing but smiles? That's why this one is eternal.
The King of Kings and the Lord of Lords.
There are reggae songs you listen to, and then there are reggae songs you enter. Satta Massagana is one of those. The first time I heard it properly, I wasn't just hearing a track. I felt like I had stepped into a ceremony.
Sit upon his throne and he rules.
The opening chords come in, and right away, the mood changes. It's not party energy. It's not casual background noise. It feels like someone just lit incense in the room. Then the voices of the Abyssinians rise, rich, layered, solemn. They don't sound like 3 men singing. They sound like a whole congregation. Satta Massagana.
Israelites are far away, far.
I remember the silence that fell in the space I was in. People who had been talking went quiet. A few nodded slowly. Some closed their eyes. It was like the song demanded respect without ever raising its voice. The rhythm is steady and hypnotic, like a slow, endless walk up a mountain path. The horns don't scream. They sound like shouts from a distant hilltop. The percussion isn't busy, it's purposeful.
On his throne, rules us and he rules.
Later, when I learned how many times this rhythm had been versioned, flipped, and reinterpreted by other artists, it made sense. Satta isn't just a song, it's a foundation, a root, a well that other artists keep drawing water from. In root sessions, when this tune drops, it's not just another selection, it's a moment.
That he rules us all.
Have you ever felt a song make the whole room feel like a different place? Like a church, a shrine, a memory you never lived but somehow recognize? That's what Satta Massagana does. And that's why it sits at number 1. Not because it's the flashiest or the most famous to casual listeners, but because it carries the weight of reggae's soul. Rasta, struggle, praise, history, and hope in one unforgettable chant. These last 4. 2 sevens clash. Guess who's coming to dinner? Cherry O Baby and Satta Massagana are like the 4 corners of a foundation. Prophecy, presence, joy, spiritual power.
And you, book of life, look into the will see.
When you hear them again, you're not just running through a playlist. You're walking through the pillars that hold up everything we call reggae today. Which one of these 4 would you play first if you had to introduce someone to real reggae for the very first time?
On his throne and sit upon us, he rules us.
If you enjoyed this episode, then go watch this video.